After failing to win over the first 3 targets, I chose to get engaged to Chloe, the paralyzed daughter of the Sterling family. I spent all my points to give her the ability to walk again. But the first thing she did upon recovering was to call off our engagement and give Caleb a spectacular seaside wedding. At the wedding, all 4 of my targets were gazing at Caleb with expressions of pure adoration. I suddenly felt an overwhelming urge to go home, so I turned and threw myself into the ocean. Yet, as my body plunged into the water, 4 figures dove in after me, their faces etched with regret and fear. On the yacht nearby, Chloe, in her wedding gown, was blissfully kissing Caleb. Over the cheers of the crowd, the system's mechanical voice echoed in my mind. Host's mission failed. You will be forcibly terminated in 15 days. A bitter smile touched my lips. After being reincarnated into this body, the system assigned me targets. If I could get just one of them to reach 100% affection, my real body, which was dying from a terminal illness in my original world, would be cured. For years, I tried my best to win them over, humbling myself completely. But every single time, just as their affection for me was about to max out, Caleb would appear, and it would all reset to 0. And now, my very last target was marrying Caleb. With that thought, I resolutely walked to the edge of the deck and plunged into the sea. The ocean enveloped me, and I spread my arms, letting myself sink toward the bottom. Just then, a figure grabbed me and pulled me back toward the surface. Fresh air flooded my lungs, and before I could even process it, a sharp slap struck my face. Did you have to jump into the ocean at Caleb's wedding? Are you trying to ruin this for everyone on purpose? I wiped the blood from the corner of my mouth, looking into her disgusted eyes as a familiar ache spread through my chest. My sister Claire was my first target in this world. After this body's parents died, Claire and I only had each other. When we were in that car crash, I shielded her with my own body without a second thought, ending up in the ICU with ruptured organs. She held me and sobbed, promising that no matter what, she would always protect me from then on. She said we were the only family each other had left in the world. But the day I got out of the hospital, I found her bringing Caleb home, announcing he was our new brother. She made Caleb move into my room. In every argument between Caleb and me, she would invariably side with him, calling me petty and small-minded for no reason. The 97 affection points I had spent 8 years accumulating were completely wiped out by Caleb in just a single week. After that, Claire's affection for me plummeted, and she even refused to acknowledge me as her brother to others. Seeing me sitting there motionless on the ground, Claire pulled a bottle of heart medication from her purse and threw it at me. Are you going to fake another heart attack? Take your pills and get lost. The truth is I don't have a heart condition. The chest pains were always a punishment from the system, but Claire, worried about me, always carried medication just in case. But now I felt nothing but coldness. I grabbed the bottle, poured a large handful of white pills, and stuffed them into my mouth. Claire froze for a second, then screamed and knocked the pills from my hand. The pills flew from my mouth as she gripped my wrist, her voice trembling. Ethan, have you lost your mind? I wasn't crazy. I just wanted to go home to say one last goodbye to my real sister. I said nothing, and Claire shot me a harsh glare. As more guests started to gather and watch, she impatiently ordered the security guards to escort me off the yacht. Just as I set foot back on the deck, I heard the click of high heels behind me. A moment later, a sweet voice called out, "Ethan, what are you doing here? Oh my God, you're completely soaked." I turned to look at Chloe, the woman I had almost married, a bitter feeling rising within me. So, she did still care about me, right? A bit of warmth returned to my body, which had been chilled by the cold ocean water. I was about to speak when Chloe slapped me hard across the face. Do you think making a pathetic scene like this will make me look at you twice? Don't be ridiculous. You ruined my wedding, and I'm not going to let it slide. With that, she grabbed me by the throat and shoved my upper body over the railing. I felt the suffocating pressure, but didn't struggle in the slightest. I thought it might be better to just die like this. So, I closed my eyes, ready to accept my fate. But my calmness seemed to unnerve Chloe. Realizing something was wrong, she stumbled back a step, staring at me in shock. Why aren't you fighting back? Why aren't you saying anything? Do you actually want to die? Would she even believe me if I tried to explain? I had tried to explain so many times before, but she always thought I was just making excuses. It only ever pushed her further toward Caleb. I gave a cold smile, my voice laced with a quiet resignation. I've lost everything anyway, so I might as well be dead. Hearing this, Chloe's expression changed instantly. She grabbed my collar, her eyes shimmering with what looked like tears. Your life belongs to me. You don't have permission to die. When Chloe and I first got engaged, her family despised my background and insisted she break it off to be with me. She had endured her family's harsh punishments time and again, beaten until she was covered in bruises. But she never gave in. When I found out, I went to the Sterling estate and took the punishment in her place. As I lay there, beaten half to death, she held me in her arms, terrified, and made me promise that I would never, ever die without her permission. I looked up at Chloe, but before I could say a word, a petite, cute girl rushed up to me. Maya, my second target. She was also my best friend in this world. She planted her foot on my face and threw a stack of photos at me. Ethan, since you had the nerve to ruin Caleb's wedding, I don't need to show you any mercy. The photos showed me leashed and beaten like a dog, held down and straddled, stripped naked with the word worthless carved into my skin. Maya had taken every one of these photos herself, carefully selecting angles that made my face perfectly clear. She did all this simply because I had exposed Caleb for cheating in the photography competition, humiliating him publicly. Amid the sounds of mocking laughter, Maya had coldly taken out her camera to capture my humiliation. In a small corner of the camera, an inscription was engraved, Maya and Ethan. It was a gift I had given her. Maya lost her mother when she was young, and her father would bring home a string of different women who took pleasure in tormenting her. We became friends by chance, and I was once beaten so badly that I went temporarily blind while protecting her from an older man her father had brought home. To comfort her, I gave her a camera and asked her to capture all the beautiful things in the world for me to see later. Even after my sight returned, she kept up her photography. But later, I noticed that her camera was filled with more and more pictures of Caleb. If you don't get on your knees and apologize to Caleb, I'll post these photos online. Let's see how you can show your face in public then. When I didn't respond, Maya's voice turned sharp. She roughly grabbed my collar and hauled me to my feet, but I was so weak that I stumbled and fell to my knees with a cry of pain. Chloe frowned and moved to help me, but Maya blocked her way. Miss Sterling, don't let his pathetic act fool you. I made the mistake of trusting him once, and it's because of him that Caleb can no longer take photographs. Ethan, you were so desperate to beat Caleb for the grand prize that you hired thugs to force him into compromising photos and then framed him for cheating. If I hadn't gotten there in time, Caleb might have done something drastic. Hearing this, the look in Chloe's eyes turned to ice. Get out of here. If you disrupt this wedding any further, I'll make you suffer everything Caleb went through and then some. I stumbled to my feet, and before Chloe could finish speaking, bolted directly towards the nearby Pacific Coast Highway. A semi-truck was speeding toward me, but just as I closed my eyes and braced for impact, someone shoved me hard out of the way. Chloe dragged her injured leg over to me and yanked me up by the collar. Ethan, who is this little suicide attempt for? Did you really think that would make me feel sorry for you? At the same time, the system's notification chimed. Host Chloe's affection level is rising. Do you wish to resume the mission? I looked at Chloe, stunned, and saw her telling her assistant to cancel the wedding. She seemed to sense my gaze and looked up, but I calmly looked away. No, I just want to go home now. After a driver took me home, I noticed I had several scrapes caked with a filthy mixture of mud and blood. I was about to clean the wounds with antiseptic when the door was suddenly kicked open. Maya stormed in and kicked me squarely in the stomach. Where did you take Caleb? If anything happens to him, I'll make your life a living hell. Chloe and Claire rushed in right behind her, their faces filled with malice. No wonder you've been putting on all these dramatic acts, Chloe sneered. It was all to cover your tracks. I'm telling you, if anything happened to Caleb, I will kill you. But I had no idea where he had run off to this time. Their words, however, gave me an idea. Since they all cared so much for Caleb, maybe they really would lose their minds over his disappearance. And then they might actually kill me. Seeing my silence, a flash of hatred crossed Chloe's eyes. It looks like you won't talk unless we make you suffer a little. She grabbed a bottle of rubbing alcohol and poured it directly onto my open wounds. The sharp, searing pain made me break out in a cold sweat. I wanted to die, yes, but not by being tortured to death. I struggled desperately, but then something hard like a wooden plank struck the back of my head. Blood streamed down my face. I was trembling so hard I didn't even have the strength to cry out. Just kill me. Seeing I was still defiant, Chloe approached me, holding a paring knife. The cold tip of the blade hovered less than an inch from my left eye. Do you think this will make us feel sorry for you? I'll ask you one last time. Where is Caleb? My face was pale, but I tilted my head back and managed a triumphant smirk. Caleb, I killed him, threw his body into the bay for the sharks. You all love him so much, don't you? All wanted to marry him. Well, that's never going to happen now. So, come on, kill me and get your revenge. Chloe's eyes blazed with fury as she plunged the knife into my chest. I collapsed to the floor, and just as my consciousness began to fade, I heard Caleb's voice from outside. Why is everyone here? I brought back some pastries. Why is there so much blood? The sudden voice made Chloe's hand flinch, shifting the blade by an inch. I wasn't dead yet. When I woke up in the hospital, my eyes were completely devoid of light. Was I really just supposed to wait to be terminated? In my real world, I still had so much family, so many friends. I wanted to see them one last time. I snuck up to the hospital roof, but looking down at the bustling street below, I ultimately backed away. Just as I turned to leave, I saw someone standing behind me. Go on, jump. Why aren't you jumping? Are you scared, or was this just another act? Olivia's eyes were dripping with scorn. She was my third target, and she had once pursued me relentlessly. She came from a wealthy family, but her parents were old-fashioned and only valued their son. Her parents were determined to marry her off to a middle-aged business partner for her brother's benefit. And when she was about to jump from a building, I was the one who saved her. From that day on, she followed me everywhere like a shadow. Her intense pursuit slowly broke down my defenses. To help her escape the arranged marriage, I traded my multi-million-dollar research patent for her freedom to love who she chose. But that very night, on her way to meet me for our date, she accidentally hit Caleb with her car. While she was taking care of Caleb, her heart began to stray, and she stopped talking about us being together. My mission had failed again. I thought that would be the end of it, but then Olivia caught Caleb in bed with another woman, and he somehow managed to blame it all on me. After that, Caleb vanished, leaving me to face Olivia's fury alone. For years, she has made my life miserable, even trying to send diseased men and women to my bed. I tried to walk past her, but she grabbed my arm and dragged me to the ledge. Half of my body was dangling over the edge as she held me down, her eyes glinting with mad hatred. Someone like you should have died a long time ago. If it wasn't for you, Caleb's reputation would never have been ruined, and we wouldn't have been forced apart. Just then, Claire and the others rushed onto the roof. Seeing what Olivia was doing, a flicker of concern crossed the faces of Claire and Maya. Seeing that they might be about to defend me, Caleb quickly stepped forward. Olivia, what happened back then is in the past. I don't blame Ethan. Everything he's been doing lately is just a cry for your attention. I get it, Ethan. I don't know what I ever did to make you hate me so much, to make you compete with me for everything, but I'm apologizing to you now. Please just stop all this. I can't stand seeing them so exhausted because of you. As he spoke, Caleb actually bowed to me in apology. While I was still confused, he subtly grabbed my hand and threw his weight backward, pulling us both toward the edge. Caleb! As Caleb appeared to fall, voices cried out in unison. In a panic, Olivia shoved me away with all her strength. As I was pushed over the ledge, I closed my eyes peacefully. I could finally leave. I just hoped I wouldn't land on anyone innocent. The four of them caught Caleb, but I fell from the roof. I felt the weightlessness of the fall, but I didn't die. By the time Olivia and the others got down from the roof, I was being helped off a firefighter's airbag. "We got a call about a jumper here half an hour ago," one of the firefighters said, relieved. "Glad we made it in time." Hearing the firefighter's words, Olivia's gaze turned icy as it landed on me. Caleb looked at me with faint surprise. "Ethan, so you already called the fire department. No wonder you were so brave. I really thought you were trying to kill me by pushing me, but I guess you were just trying to scare me, right? But you know my eardrums were perforated when you had those guys beat me up years ago. A fall from this height could have made me permanently deaf." Caleb's face was a mask of lingering fear and hurt as he looked at Chloe, his eyes welling up. "I'm not afraid to die. I just can't bear to leave you. But Ethan loves you so much. I'm sure he would take good care of you, even if I were gone." Chloe rushed forward to embrace him tightly, then shot me a look filled with venom. "Ethan, if anything had actually happened to Caleb, I would never have forgiven you." With that, she lunged forward and kicked my leg. Those legs, atrophied for so many years, were now fully functional, and the force of her kick made my knees give out, sending me to the ground. I looked up at Chloe, who stood protectively in front of Caleb with a grim expression. But when I was the one who healed her legs, she had promised to protect me for the rest of her life. Her legs had been paralyzed in a car accident, turning her into an outcast in the Sterling family. When we got engaged, there was a light in her eyes for the first time. She told me I would be the only one she ever loved. But after knowing Caleb for only 3 days, she had a change of heart. Chloe took me back to the Sterling mansion where the 4 women stared at me with varying expressions. Chloe pulled out her phone and played a video right in front of me. "Ethan, if you hadn't caused that hit and run and left me there, I never would have been paralyzed and ridiculed for all those years. When Caleb gave me this video, he begged me not to press charges. He even got on his knees to protect you. And yet you keep trying to hurt him." Olivia, Claire, and Maya already hated my guts for forcing Caleb to leave. And now their glares were like knives. Any trace of sympathy or concern that Claire and Maya might have had vanished completely. "This car belongs to the Anderson family," Chloe said coldly. "You should recognize it." Chloe paused the video with a smirk. Even though the license plate was obscured, I recognized the custom decals instantly. It was the car Claire had given me, but Caleb had wheedled it out of me not long after I got it. "Claire did give me that car," I said, "but Caleb took it before I ever had a chance to drive it." As soon as the words left my mouth, all eyes turned to Caleb. His expression had been strange ever since Chloe played the video, and now his face was as white as a sheet. "Chloe, it's true. I've driven that car before. That's how I recognized it in the footage. But I swear I wasn't the one driving it that day." "Ethan, you must have taken the car out secretly that day, right?" I let out a cold laugh and walked over to Claire, phone in hand. "They might not know, but you do. You know it's impossible for me to have driven that car." As if sensing my utter despair, Claire bit her lip and, under the confused stares of the others, slowly nodded. "On the day of the accident, Ethan was not the one driving the car." A wave of shocked glances immediately fell upon Caleb. Besides me and Claire, the only other person who could have driven that car was Caleb. Caleb stared at me silently for a long moment, then suddenly broke into a smile. "If Ethan says I was driving, then fine, I was driving. Chloe, even though I wasn't the one who crippled you, I'm willing to atone for it." He ran into the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and plunged it into his own leg. Figures blurred past me, and blood went flying. Chloe, Claire, Olivia, and Maya all tried to grab the blade with their bare hands. Seeing the deep cuts on their hands, tears streamed down Caleb's face. "Was it worth hurting yourselves for me? You're the most important people in the world to me. I don't want you to hate me. I'd rather lose my legs than lose your trust. Chloe, I swear I wasn't driving that day." Chloe ignored the gash on her own hand and pulled Caleb into a tight embrace. "Caleb, of course I believe you. Please don't do anything foolish. If anything happened to you, I wouldn't want to live either." Caleb's eyes landed on me. "But as long as I'm around, Ethan will keep pulling these stunts to get your attention. He's my half-brother after all. I don't want to see him get hurt." Hearing this, Chloe picked the knife up off the floor and walked over to me. "You want to die so badly? Fine, I'll help you. But do you have the guts?" Everything you do is just to get our attention and make us hate Caleb. I can overlook the fact that you're the reason I was paralyzed, but I will not let you hurt Caleb again. The knife glinted under the light. I took it without hesitation and aimed it at my own heart. But the moment the tip touched my skin, an invisible force pushed it back. It was the system blocking me. I didn't understand why, so instead, I slashed the blade across my wrist. Blood poured from the wound. Claire stumbled over to me, her eyes red with panic. She tried to stop the bleeding, but Chloe and Olivia held her back. Claire, if he really wanted to die, he wouldn't have just cut his wrist, Olivia said. He's just trying to make us feel sorry for him. Olivia added with a sneer. I bet if we leave him alone for 5 minutes, he'll run to the hospital himself. After all, this is the guy who calls the fire department before he jumps off a roof. As my vision blurred, I saw a triumphant smirk on Caleb's face. Congratulations, host. Claire's affection level has reached 50%. Reward 500 points. Would you like to exchange them for clear evidence from the accident scene? Yes. And then everything went black. When I opened my eyes again, I was looking at a face filled with worry. It was Claire. She looked at me with a complicated expression, a mixture of guilt and regret in her eyes. I know you weren't driving that day, she said softly. Of course, she knew. She had confiscated my driver's license long ago to stop me from fighting with Caleb over the car. And the road to the crash site had a security checkpoint where they checked licenses. There was no way I could have gotten through. But you're the one who framed Caleb with that woman to hurt Olivia, ruining his reputation. You owe him for that. So, I'm asking you not to expose him now. From now on, you and Caleb will both be my brothers. I won't neglect you again. Claire's affection level has reached 60%. Host, do you wish to reactivate the mission? I can assist you. No. Even the emotionless system was willing to bend the rules for me. Yet, not one of the women I had poured my heart out to was willing to believe me. I didn't want to see any of them ever again. I would rather die than continue to sacrifice myself for them. I'm going to expose him, I said, my voice cold. I'm going to ruin him. Claire's face grew pale, and a pleading look entered her eyes. Why? Mom and Dad are gone. Besides us, Caleb is the only family we have left. Are you really going to push him to the brink? Family? If I told you he was the one who killed Mom, would you still call him family? Claire froze, shaking her head in disbelief. That's impossible. Caleb is too kind to do something like that. I know he's Dad's illegitimate son, but that was an accident. He never asked to be born. As Claire continued to defend him, I sent a video file to her email. I had used my 500 points for the truth about Chloe's accident. This was a bonus gift from the system. The video showed a young Caleb sitting with a woman, watching with venomous eyes as our mother played with me and Claire. I wish she would just die, the young Caleb said. Then my mom could be with Dad, and I could be a real Anderson. As our mother anxiously called out our names, he suddenly threw a thick branch at her feet, tripping her and sending her falling into the pond. In addition to the park security footage, there was also a montage of the 5 years of agony I endured alone. She looked up, her face ashen, completely speechless. She knew I had no reason to act when I was alone, which meant all that suffering was real. That was the price for your health. It wasn't a real illness, so no hospital could ever diagnose it. She opened her mouth, her voice raspy as she said my name. Ethan, Caleb told me you were a player, that everything you did for me was just part of mission. He said the system cured my illness, that it cost you nothing. So why is it that you believe every word? He says, but you won't believe a single thing from me. I cut her off with a cold laugh. It's true. I was on a mission, but many of the things I did were because she was my sister and I genuinely wanted to help her. Ethan, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Claire was sobbing, apologizing to me over and over, but her words meant nothing to me now. I wearily got up and walked to the kitchen, only to find that every sharp object in the house had been removed and bars had been installed on the windows and doors. Did they really think this would be enough to stop me? But just as I had filled the bathtub and was about to submerge myself, Maya burst in and dragged me out. I'm not letting you die until you've paid Kayla back for everything you've done. Her face was livid, but the system's voice chimed in my head. Maya's affection level has reached 20%. Reward, 200 points. Available for exchange. One truth video. After redeeming the video, I sent it directly to Mia's phone. As long as I didn't reactivate the mission, I was still doomed to die. So, before I left this world, I was going to clear my name. Mia glanced at her phone, annoyed. What is this now? Are you trying to frame Caleb again? Aren't you tired of faking all this evidence? But when she played the video, her eyes widened in shock. Her expertise in photography made it easy for her to tell that the video was authentic. The video showed me shielding Maya from her father's blows, while Caleb stood nearby with her father's new girlfriend. Linda, Caleb was saying to the woman, if you want to control Maya, you have to get rid of Ethan. I have a plan that will make them hate each other forever. Caleb had hired some thugs with depraved taste to humiliate me, but they had mistakenly kidnapped him instead because Mia had run over to give him some photo paper at the exact wrong moment. Mia stared at the screen, her eyes wide with disbelief that Caleb could have done such a thing. The video continued, showing a second clip of Caleb cheating during the photography competition. Not only that, but it also showed him trying to destroy Mia's portfolio to ruin her chances of getting into a good art school, leaving her at her father's mercy. To protect her entry, I had let Caleb's thugs beat me until my bones broke. But I never let go of the USB drive containing her work. Standing beside her, Claire gasped and covered her mouth. You were injured so badly that time because you were protecting Mia's project. Mia looked at Claire, stunned. Claire, I asked you before if Ethan had been hurt, and you told me no. Claire looked down, ashamed. Ethan made me promise not to tell you. And Caleb said Ethan had been beaten up because he'd done something to betray you, and he begged me to keep his secret. Maya stumbled back, her eyes filling with tears as she stared at the screen. How could this be? You told me Ethan framed you for cheating, and that when you confronted him, he was the one who beat you up. You said he was just faking his own injuries to trick me. Seeing the guilt in Caleb's eyes on the video, Maya turned to me, her expression pained. I'm so sorry, Ethan. He was the one lying to me all along. Caleb told me his stepfather used to beat him, that he was always getting bullied. I related to his story, so I wanted to protect him, but I never imagined. You never imagined it was all a fabricated lie. I finished for her, my voice light but my eyes empty. Maya nodded, tears streaming down her face. Just as she was about to say something else, Olivia glanced at her phone, and her expression changed dramatically. Ethan, did you post these photos online? Are you really trying to destroy Caleb? The photos of Caleb being caught in bed with another woman had been leaked online. In the pictures, the woman's face was obscured by her hair. That was why Olivia had been so convinced that I had hired the woman to frame Caleb. In the present, Caleb actually fell to his knees before me, sobbing. I know you hate me, Ethan. You could do whatever you want to me, but I'm Chloe's husband now. I can't let my past ruin her reputation. Ethan, what will it take for you to finally leave me alone? Chloe and Olivia rushed to help Caleb up, their faces full of pity. Caleb will help you prove your innocence. You don't need to beg him for anything. And Ethan, Chloe added, don't forget about that hit and run. All I have to do is make one call, and you'll go to prison. This time, before I could say a word, Claire and Ma stepped in front of me. Ethan would never do that, Claire said firmly. I can prove he wasn't driving. I believe Ethan too, Mia added, and I won't let you hurt him. Both Claire's and Ma's affection levels have reached 90%. Are you certain you do not wish to reactivate the mission? No. Do I have enough points left to buy all the remaining truth videos? After receiving the system's confirmation, I immediately made the exchange. Moments later, both Chloe and Olivia received new emails. Olivia opened hers out of curiosity, and her expression instantly soured. That fender bender you staged was brilliant, a woman's voice said from the phone. I hear Olivia is completely devoted to you now. So, when are you going to make your move? Don't tell me you've actually fallen for her. The video showed Caleb pulling the woman into his arms. How could I? You're the only one I love, he replied. I'm only getting close to her to help you steal her company's secrets, so you can finally crush your sister and take over as CEO. I heard she was chasing some guy named Ethan before this. How did you get her to change her mind so fast? Caleb scoffed. A woman that desperate for affection is easy prey. I just told her I had lingering injuries from the accident, and she stayed by my side at the hospital. Then I mentioned how Ethan was always targeting me because of her, and she bought it completely. Hearing this, both Claire and Maya's faces went pale. They knew Olivia had believed Caleb so easily in part because they had backed up his stories. I felt nothing as I met their guilty stares. So, what's your plan to get rid of her after you get what you want? The woman asked. There was a hint of jealousy in her voice, and Caleb quickly reassured her. That's easy. Her parents are dying to marry her off for business. I'll just arrange for some disgusting old man to take her. Once she's soiled goods, she won't have a nerve to be with me anymore. And then I'll just blame the whole thing on Ethan and walk away clean. The color drained from Olivia's face. Caleb saw he was exposed and opened his mouth to argue. But then the second part of the video started playing. It was such bad luck that she saw us together, Caleb's voice said. But don't worry. I already told her Ethan set the whole thing up. She already trusts me completely. If I act heartbroken and leave now, I know she and those other two idiots will make Ethan's life hell. I'll just come back after the dust settles. It's a good thing they didn't get your face in the photos. Now I can just say you were some random woman Ethan hired. If they ever found out who you really are, things would get complicated. Olivia's fists clenched, her eyes fixed on Caleb with a murderous stare. The whole situation had been suspicious, but she had trusted Caleb so completely that she never bothered to look into it. It's not what it looks like. The video has to be fake. Olivia, I was framed, he started to explain, but then Chloe played the video she had received. The same woman's voice filled the room again. Before you leave the country, I need you to do one more thing for me. When you get back, I'll marry you. My little sister has been getting a lot of attention lately, and Dad is starting to favor her. She likes to go hiking up in the mountains. She'll be there this weekend. That trail has no cameras and is very isolated. I want you to make sure she's no longer qualified to be the family heir. I don't care how you do it. The camera angle shifted, and the woman's face finally came into view. Seeing the familiar face, Chloe's jaw dropped in disbelief. Sophia, the woman with Caleb, was her own sister, Sophia Sterling. I've already run Chloe's car off the road, Caleb's voice said in the next clip. Even if she survives, she'll be crippled for life. Don't worry, they won't trace it back to me. And even if they do, there's already a scapegoat. The car I used was the one Claire gave to Ethan. With a trembling hand, Chloe reopened the video she had received days ago, the one from the accident. This time, she could clearly see Caleb's face behind the wheel. After he returned to the country, Sophia had been down for angering their grandfather, so he had immediately set his sights on Chloe instead. For pairs of furious eyes now stared at Caleb, who shook his head, his face deathly pale. Please, you have to believe me. The videos are fake. It's Ethan. He's trying to tear us apart. Chloe, how could I ever hurt you? Just as he was about to argue further, a disheveled figure appeared in the doorway behind him. That's not what you told me, Caleb, Sophia said. Chloe, Olivia, as much as I hate you both, I can confirm that everything in those videos is true. With Sophia's testimony, the whole truth was out and my name was finally cleared. And now there was only one day left of my 15-day deadline. The thought of never seeing my real family and friends again brought tears to my eyes when I suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. The four of them rushed to my side, holding me up. Ethan, we're taking you to the hospital. You're going to be okay. Just as I pushed them away, ready to accept my fate, I saw several familiar figures running toward me. It was my real mother, my sister, and my best friend. Host, new targets have appeared. Do you wish to reactivate the mission? Activate, I said with the last of my strength. In the next instant, my vision cleared and all the pain vanished. Congratulations, host. All three targets have reached 100% affection, preparing for return to the original world. Ethan, please wake up. My affection for you is at 100%. I know it is. Why isn't it working? Ethan, if once isn't enough, we'll try again. I'll give my own life if that's what it takes to bring you back. Ethan, we promised we'd be best friends forever. You can't break your promise. Hearing those familiar voices, I I struggled to open my eyes. Mom, Sis Lily, I'm back. A month after coming home, my body made a full recovery. At the same time, the system's voice echoed in my head one last time. Congratulations, host, on completing your mission. I will be departing shortly. As a farewell gift, I leave you with this. A series of images flashed before my eyes. After I died in that world, Claire sold everything she owned, trying to find a way to bring me back. But in the end, she was left with nothing, and I never returned because I was gone. The health I had given her was taken away. Claire got into another car accident, but this time there was no one to shield her. She could only lie there, feeling the agony of her internal organs rupturing. The chronic pain from her injuries made her wish for death every day. Maya was locked in that dark basement by her father again, clutching the camera I had given her. With me gone, her fate of being beaten by her father and his girlfriend returned. She lived in constant torment, but this time there was no one there to protect her. Without my research, Olivia's company went into a nosedive. To save it, her parents began forcing her on different executives in exchange for investments. The once proud Olivia had fallen from grace into the gutter. She woke up screaming my name from nightmares every night, hoping I would come and save her. As for Chloe, her legs became paralyzed again soon after I was gone. Despite seeing countless specialists, she was told she would never walk again. The shareholders who had supported her all defected to her sister, Sophia. Having lost everything, Chloe faced even worse torment than before, sometimes struggling just to find enough food to eat. A few months later, the four of them managed to meet. They captured Caleb and locked him in a basement where they subjected him to every single torment I had ever suffered. When Caleb was on the verge of death, the four women knelt on the floor, clutching old photos of me and weeping. Ethan, I know I was wrong. Claire choked out. Please come back. You're the only family I have left. As she spoke, she coughed up dark blood, her breathing growing faint. Maya clutched a paper airplane we had made as kids, her eyes swollen and red. Ethan, we were supposed to be friends forever. I broke my promise, and I lost you. Every word she spoke sent a jolt of pain through her broken bones, her face growing whiter with the effort. Olivia's body was covered in bruises. No longer useful to her family, she had been thrown out and now sold her body to survive. Ethan, the only reason I'm still alive is for the chance to see you one more time. Please, I'm begging you. Come back. The engagement ring Chloe and I once shared slipped and fell. She tumbled out of her wheelchair, scrambling desperately across the floor to grab it. Ethan, we're still going to get married, right? I'll wait for you forever. Her legs had atrophied to nothing more than skin and bone, a horrifying sight. The images faded. I let out a long sigh and smiled as I walked toward my mom and sister who were finishing dinner. Look what I brought. Where's Lily? I thought she'd be here already. She loves Mom's cooking. Just then, I heard skipping footsteps behind me, and Lily walked in carrying a big cake. I was getting your birthday cake. Of course, this thing was heavy. See, it's your favorite flavor. We didn't forget. Surrounded by laughter, I blew out the candles and made a new wish. I wish for my family and friends to be happy and safe, and for the people from that other world to disappear from my memory forever.